Australia, the island continent. It's so big that it takes a boy an entire day to run from one side to the other. And it's so jam-packed with great stuff that there's only one way to get to know the real Australia. Get it up, ya. Western Australia was originally called Eastern Australia before the Australian Competition and Consumer Commission put a stop to it.
So over in the east you've obviously got the Easter Bunny, but over here in the west it's all about this guy, the Wester Bunny. So here it is, not only the most western point in Australia, but also the most western point in the world. The West Pole, magnetic west. From here, everywhere is east.
Hey, excuse me, mate.
Hey, mate.
Just wondering which way it is to the train station.
Oh, sure, yeah, you just want to head east. Can't miss it.
Yeah.
So you've got Santa Claus up at the North Pole. He obviously does Christmas. Then you've got the Easter Bunny over at the East Pole, does Easter. And then you've got the South Pole Penguin. She does Christmas in July. Then there's me. I actually don't really have one at the moment. I used to do Ash Wednesday, but there was a little incident where I ashed the wrong leaf, if you know what I'm saying. But it's all right. They've got me doing Sunday sessions down at the pub now, which is all right. It's actually just east of here. Yeah. Sure, I know Sunday sessions aren't exactly one of the big deal holidays, but that's okay. Like, I know the Penguin gets to deliver joy in the form of second Christmas presents, but I'm here at the Lucky Shag delivering joy in the form of sweet tunes and beer, you know? And the other guys, well, they only get to do it once a year, whereas I get to do it every Sunday. So yeah, it's great.
But seriously, which way is it to the train station?
Yeah, seriously, just head east.
Fucking Wester Bunny.
Crocodiles are as synonymous with Australia as gibberish terms like Ridgy-Didge, Dinky-Di and Danny Minogue.
I guess we owe a debt of gratitude to Crocodile Dundee and Paul Hogan for not only putting Northern Territory tourism on the map, but also just for coming up with the whole idea of the crocodile in the first place. I mean, what a fantastic flight of fancy, the idea of this kind of a living dinosaur brought to life and terrorising the people of the coastal regions. It's a beautiful idea, and I remember being in the cinema and thinking, imagine if that was real, imagine if you could go along and actually see one of those things sort of in the flesh, as it were, and so that's what we did. We made it happen. We got some animatronics experts together and a few puppeteers. These guys are great, and that's how Crocosaurus Cove was born. This is our biggest model. This actually takes 3 men to operate this. It's pretty fantastic to watch.
Let's take a look at what went into making that moment we saw just there. 2 puppeteers control the marionette, while a third uses a remote control to control the animatronics. Now let's look behind the scenes of a feeding. I think you'll find it's very realistic.
Alright, here we go. Let's shift around, let's move towards it. Alright, let's go down, get ready for the strike. 1, 2, 3. Oh, missed it. Okay, grab it. Yep, oh, great. Great, alright. Now swim away, quick, swim away.
A lot of people come to me and they're almost sad, that crocodiles aren't real, and but that's that's the reality. It's a made-up creature. No such thing as a crocodile. No crocodiles in the Northern Territory. Some bloody big alligators though. So stay safe. Be careful of them, obviously.
The Australian Army is much more than just a combination of 3 words. It's also a bunch of people.
And so, in summing up, that is why we in the military have a strict take no prisoners policy.
But General, haven't there been instances where you have taken some prisoners?
No, we have not taken any prisoners. I want to make that absolutely clear.
Well, I can quite distinctly see 2 men over there with bags on their heads and handcuffs on, looking a lot like prisoners.
Those men are not, in fact, prisoners, no.
Then why are they there?
The first is dressed that way as part of a sex game, and the second is an optical illusion caused by the bending of light.
He's waving at me.
I was joking when I said it was an optical illusion. It's actually a life-size marionette on loan from the Jim Henson Company.
Well, that makes sense. But what about the leaked footage of your men bursting into civilian homes and forcibly detaining the inhabitants?
That was part of an elaborate role play. That village actually gets off on being taken prisoner by military personnel.
The whole village?
Yes. 90% of the tension in the Middle East is sexual tension, and we are doing what we can to relieve that. We are very sensitive to their needs.
I've been speaking with a former militant who described to me his time with you as your prisoner.
I know the gentleman in question. He's actually suffering from a very rare mental illness that makes him believe that he is a prisoner. It's actually the opposite of Stockholm Syndrome. So when someone loves you, they think that they're your prisoner. So you see, he's not in fact a prisoner. We are in love. He is my lover. If anything, I am the prisoner. A prisoner of love.
That leads me to my next question. Can you explain why last year's military budget included over $250 million allocated to weddings and wedding-related expenses?
Yes, I can explain that. And if you're suggesting that I am systematically becoming engaged and married to all our terrorism suspects and other enemies of the state, simply to avoid prosecution under the Geneva Convention because I discovered earlier that crimes committed against spouses cannot be taken to the International War Crimes Tribunal, if you're suggesting that, I find that deeply insulting. I believe marriage to be a sacred vow between a man and a woman, not between a military general and 346 otherwise undetainable terrorism suspects and other enemies of the state. I find that deeply hurtful, not only to myself, but also to my darling wife, Mrs. Unregistered Prison Encampment 316B.
No, I wasn't suggesting that.
Good. Any other questions? Thank you.
Of the 10 most dangerous animals in the world, 17 are found in Australia, and a further 8 haven't been found, making them, if anything, more dangerous.
The quokka is a type of large rat that's native to these parts in WA. It's probably most famous for living on Rottnest Island, which is where I'm from. Rot meaning rat and nest meaning island. And I hunt down and I film the quokka just to raise awareness for this elusive nocturnal species. Shh. Can you hear that? Is there something in that bush? Is there something there? No, stay back, stay back. Don't get too close, that's what they want.
They want me to film them, do they? The quokkas?
They're very photogenic animals. Man. No, stop. Just don't.
To make a compelling wildlife documentary, you really need a scary animal. And the quokka is not interesting or terrifying. Fortunately, Olive makes up for that by being scared of pretty much everything with legs. So apparently she had an encyclopedia of Australian marsupials fall on her when she was a child. So I guess that explains it.
Now, you've got to be on guard with the quokka or large rat. Remember, you're more afraid of them than they are of you. What was that? Was that...
What?
Did you see something?
It's nothing. It's always nothing.
No, but
Look.
don't go over there, no.
Oh my God. It is a quokka.
they are very photogenic.
Everyday Aussies hate being told what to think, but they sure do love being told to keep thinking whatever it is they are already thinking. And nobody does that better than Talkback Radio.
Hello, you're listening to Confusing the Issue. Today on Confusing the Issue, we are discussing the old growth logging in Tasmania.
Now, I think the issue is their size, right? I think it's because we've left them too long to get too big. It's a timing issue.
Absolutely. I mean, if we'd got onto this earlier, when they were just saplings.
This wouldn't be a problem if we had mowed them down when they were just grass-sized saplings.
No one's ever complained about young growth mowing.
Hardly anyone in my circles.
Certainly not, but the problem with trees is that the longer you leave them, the bigger they get.
Absolutely.
They're not like rocks.
No.
Rocks, the longer you leave them, the smaller they get. No, trees are much more like trees.
Or sourdough.
Oh, yes.
Yes, the longer you leave it, the bigger it gets, and then you cook it, and then it gets even bigger, and then of course you eat it, and it gets smaller, much like a rock.
Sourdough, is there anything it can't do?
It's nature's chameleon.
Nature's chameleon, yes. If I were to seek out a metaphor for sourdough, I would turn to the chameleon.
If you could find one.
Oh, very difficult creature to find, you chameleon.
Well, it's very hard to put your finger on one.
Oh, but the satisfaction when you do.
Bliss.
My lord, the satisfaction on the face of a man who, after several months of fruitless probing, has finally placed his questing digit upon the rough and multi-hued skin of nature's chameleon. Sourdough. But that's not the real issue, is it?
Why would it be? You've got to look at this from the tree's point of view.
Oh, the trees, the mighty Tasmanian oak.
Yes, the swamp gum.
The swamp gum. Imagine that. Imagine to have come out of a swamp and to have achieved so much in the field of being a tree.
Absolutely. It's a real swamp to riches story.
It's a swamp dog millionaire.
It's very much like a swamp version of Robin Hood, but of course instead of giving money to the poor, he's giving fertiliser to a sapling, and also he is a swamp.
Absolutely, it's like Pride and Prejudice, except with a swamp instead of Jane Austen's prose and an enormous tree instead of subtext.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. But the trees have only got themselves to blame.
Well, of course.
Because trees are what I call bad winners.
Yes.
They lord it over us, and you know how in Australia we hate a tall poppy.
Yes, and especially a poppy that's 100 feet tall and at the girth of about 6 40-year-old computer programmers standing side by side.
Indeed, probably in line for some sort of a booth at a computing convention. But these giants with their gift of near immortality,
lording their immortality over us, while we scuttle around with our short lives.
Like ants?
Yes, like ants, just trying to enjoy any precious moment as it flies past us.
These days that fall like trees.
Onto ants.
Yes, an irony that I'm sure is not lost on the ants.
Absolutely. But in the end, man is to blame for cutting down the trees.
Ah, yes, but where did man come from? Descend from, if you will.
The trees!
Absolutely. When man first climbed down out of those trees as if on an errand.
Yes, he came down and he chopped down that tree to make a raft.
A raft of legislation, which he then used to protect those trees. An irony that I am sure is not lost on the trees. And that is old growth logging in Tasmania. And this is Confusing the Issue.
Before Graham Kennedy was the king of television, Jeremy Cribbins was the joker of television. Someone had forgotten to take him out of the deck. Television historian Darren Dench has done some research on Wikipedia.
This was a new frontier in Australian entertainment, right? No one had ever seen it before. It was loose. There were no rules. Actually, there was one rule: entertainment. But that was what the exciting thing was about when Australia saw its first late-night television show.
Thank you so much. Thanks for being here, everybody. It's so good to be here myself.
As the show progressed and continued to evolve, these guys started playing with sets and props, but they found themselves really starting to hit the peak of what they could achieve creatively. Then Cribbins had a masterstroke, a genius, as they say, the biz. Action. Make a man dress like a woman. The first time it's ever been done on TV. Apparently. By this stage, these guys are very well aware that they could get away with anything. And they did. They killed a man. They killed a man in cold blood, live on TV. Oh, well, don't let you do that anymore. In terms of entertainment, murder is pretty much up the top. I mean, where does one go from there? How can you possibly top that idea? It can't be topped, I tell you. It can't be. Or can it? Only Cribbins could answer that question. I'll tell you what he did. Murder in cold blood, live on television, dressed as a woman.
And again, tonight's show brought to you by Johnson's Rice Crackers.
Brilliant. Love Cribbins. He's a good man. I try to be like Cribbins every day. You know, Mom, going down. Come on, what are you? No, I can't. What'd you call me?
Australian politics holds the world record for most men squeezed into a cabinet. One of those men is the Honourable Barry Greenhorn.
Look, I don't know what all the fuss is about, to be honest. I think what we're dealing with here is a fundamental misunderstanding of the nature of representative democracy. I mean, what's the big deal if the Minister for Women isn't himself per se actually a woman? I mean, it's not like the Minister for Education is a teacher. It's not like the Minister for Agriculture is a farmer. Okay, well, he is actually a farmer, but he's not a very good one. The Minister for Health, she's actually not very well at the moment. The Minister for Arts, he's no oil painting, let me tell you that much. The Minister for Communications, he's not a text message. The Minister for Transport isn't a truck. The Minister for Foreign Affairs, it's not like she's getting her end away overseas. The Treasurer is in a large box full of gold and jewels used as a cache of monetary reward during times of war. The Minister for Defence, he's not a huge waste of public money. The Minister for Small Business, he's not a kiosk down at Bondi selling frosty fruits to the kids on the weekend. Okay, look, there's been a little bit of a reshuffle in the ministry, and some of the things that I just said may no longer be actually factually accurate. Turns out that the small kiosk selling frosty fruits to the kids down at Bondi at the weekend, which had previously been in the ministry for the centenary of the Anzac, has actually just been shuffled into the small business portfolio. So technically, yes, the small business minister is a kiosk down at Bondi selling frosty fruits to the kids on the weekend as of today. But everything else I said still stands. Still stands.
South Australia got its name because it is the southernmost state in Australia, with the exception of Tasmania, Victoria and parts of Western Australia. Its capital city, Adelaide, is famous for its trams, hook turns and 24-hour bakeries.
So we are a 24-hour operation here at Bakery on O'Connell.
Absolutely.
People sometimes ask us, who needs a pie floater at 4 a.m. in the morning?
I do.
Well, that feels like a pretty odd question to me. It's not like they're asking that of the hospitals, who are also open 24 hours a day, or the fire department for that matter, you know?
Or the police, they're on call 24 hours a day.
Very good point.
Why are we any different? We are a 24-hour operation, or what we call in the business, a baker's 23 hours a day.
But that's just basic baker's mathematics, you know. A baker's dozen, that's 13.
13 rolls in a baker's dozen, absolutely.
Or a baker's one,
that's 2.
Baker's 3,
That's
4, Baker's 5,
That's 6.
and so on and so forth.
So on and so Baker's third.
Yes. Well, you know, you've got a Baker's duo, that's a trio.
Oh, actually, on that, I know that the John Butler Baker's duo, for example, is one of your favourite acts.
That's right, and I know that Angus and Julia Stone are your favourite solo artists.
Absolutely, can't get enough of them. And so that's why we say that we are open a Baker's 23 hours a day, a Baker's 6 days a week.
Or in other words, 2 Baker's dozens minus 2/13 of a Baker's dozens hours a day.
No, I think you'll find that is a Baker's 1 Baker's dozens minus Baker's 1 Baker's dozenth hours a day.
Sorry.
What's the number for John's flour again?
That's Baker's 7, Baker's 9, Baker's 8, Baker's -1, Baker's 3, Baker's 2, Baker's 4.
You've only given me a Baker's 6 numbers there. Your Baker's none short.
Sorry, yep, Baker's 6.
Oh yeah, I'm calling about the delivery that was supposed to be made on Baker's Sunday. So that's 1 cappuccino with half a sugar. A Baker's 0 cappuccinos with a Baker's -1/2 sugar, please. That'll be a Baker's $2.50. The way that I got into baking is that I did a 4-year bakery apprenticeship. Sorry, a Baker's 3-year bakery apprenticeship.
And I did a PhD in pure mathematics.
He did.
You can learn a lot about an Australian based on the type of beer they drink.
And then the guy finished talking and everybody laughed. All right, I'm just gonna go and get some beers.
Hello. Just the beer?
I had this baby duck and I was looking at it. I don't even like animals. I like trucks. You know, I like trucks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey guys, all right, let's go.
Mate, is that midstream? It's got midstream.
What are you, pregnant?
No.
Excellent choice, Your Highness.
Oh,
You're like a lady.
What are you trying not to drink away your problems? Oh, you piece of shit.
What do you get mid-strength for? Let's go, guys.
Let's just go.
Not you, Mitty.
Get a life, mate.
All right. Oi, Mitty! Get fucked!
What? Are you joking? Why didn't you just play full strength beer?
What?
Yeah.
Gonna go for a lay down.
Don't let him get away. Let's get him. Get that pretty bastard. Get him. Grab him. God.
Say, you should have bought a normal strength beer as opposed to a mid-strength beer, man.
You made a full-strength mistake, mate.
You don't have to do this. It's only 1 or 2% difference.
Eat that, you bastard.
Eat the dirt. Oh, yeah.
You bloody scum.
Cop that.
No!
Hello. Just the beer?